T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers. Thug life. And here we go.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him.
You are all my children now.
This is as far as you go. No more.
Hello, Sydney. Are you God damn me.
Wish I had you all alone, just the two of us.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
This force, this thing that lived inside of him came from a source too violent, too deadly for you to imagine. It grew inside him, contaminating his soul. It was pure evil.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him.
Ooh, baby, 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 ooh, baby.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Movies and Beyond. Once again, I am Michael, and today
It's Sunday. It's Sunday Horror Hangout. Matt should be here in just a minute. And speaking of the devil, he just showed up right here. What's going on, Matt? How you doing tonight? Happy Horror Sunday. And it's kind of like Movies and Beyond right before Halloween, because this is the last show that we'll do before Halloween. So what's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Michael. I'm doing fantastic. It's dude. Let's talk for a minute. You know, guys like us. I know I speak for a lot of you out there in the chat. It's fall. Halloween is right around the corner. Michael, congrats on everything you've done for the channel for so long now, and how far you've come. You know, and now we're once again ranking the Halloweens, my favorite franchise. This is the first thing that we did when we first got together.
Yep.
And this, all this time to do this again with you, man, days before Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm coming off of a fantastic weekend. You got to see it. There were some great people that turned out for our costume contest.
Yeah.
I'm on cloud 9, dude. It's great to be here, and I can't wait to talk some Halloween, brother.
Dude, 2 points. Let me go back to 2 things you said. One, yes, 2 years, brother. We are days, I would say probably like a week and a half away from the exact like 2-year mark of when we did this the first time. But I wanted to do, since it was Halloween, I wanted to do before Halloween. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it to be in that range, because I think it was November. It was November when we did it. And that was the first show we did together. And it was the second live I ever did. And if I'm not mistaken, when we did it, you were on your cell phone, kind of like, trying to get that right. Neither of us could really speak in front of people whatsoever. We were kind of like through most of it. I haven't watched it probably since that we did it. Like I would always, when we first started, I would always rewatch the show to kind of see what I could do better. But dude, I haven't watched it in a long time, and there was a reason for that. I would have loved to have watched it before this show, but I didn't want to see my list. I didn't want to know what I picked then before now. So, when this is over, maybe I'll go ahead and watch it, just to see. But watching my old videos, dude, they're so cringy for me. Like every now and then I'll see somebody will comment, like I'll get a notification on my phone, like so-and-so has commented on one of your videos, and I look and it's a video from 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's so cringy. Like to watch myself stumble through everything and to not really be confident at all in front of the camera, compared to now where I don't give a shit. I don't, it doesn't matter how many people are in the chat. I really don't care. But then it'd be like, oh my God, there's 5 people watching me. Oh my God, there's 6. Oh my God, there's 7. You know what I mean? And it really weighed on my mind. So, long story short, yeah, I definitely want to go back and check that out. And dude, yes, it's Halloween. It's where we began. And that, I've been pushing a lot of Friday the 13th, on this channel, dude. But I don't want people to forget, brother. We started with this Halloween shit. You know what I mean? Like that's where this channel started, dude. And I am a huge fan of this, and I can't wait to talk about the movies now, how I see them, and how, hear how you see them, and how the chat sees them, and how different it is. And before we do that, just say nobody's wrong. Okay. So anybody in the chat that likes one movie that maybe is my number 13, I'm not saying that you're wrong. That's just my opinion. And, we preach that on this channel. It's all opinion. It's all fun. You can jokingly be like, oh, you're full of shit. Halloween Resurrection is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Cool. Like, yes, like there is no debate with that whatsoever. It's all opinion, and it's all a good time for Halloween. Hell yeah, Matt. I can't wait to get in tonight, brother. And my list came out quicker than I thought it would. It really did, man.
I had a few stumbles, and then it was, a few that took me a second, and then I could one more stumble, and then it was zoom. There's some that are just, they are what they are, and they're locked in, brother.
I've got a couple that are interchangeable in a couple sections. Like my number 7 could very well be my number 6, and my number 6 could very well be my number 7. you know, like there's not that much of a discrepancy between the two movies to where, you know, one could move up, one could move down, you know, but my end of my list is pretty solid and the beginning of my list is pretty solid on, you know, where I feel about those things. But there is that little gap for me. There's a lower end of the bad movies that are kind of interchangeable, and then there's a lower end of the good movies that are kind of interchangeable for me with, you know, the Halloween series. And I do the same with Friday and I do the same with Nightmare. You know, it's just kind of, you know, what I do with those. But yeah, man, like this is super cool. It's almost freaking Halloween. I'm super excited about Halloween night. I'm going to go see the OG 1978 Halloween in a movie theater. That is on my bucket list. I've never seen that in the theater before. I cannot wait to do it. I cannot wait to get into it tonight. And I'm so freaking excited about that, dude. What about?
Let me ask you, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. All right. This is I absolutely love this mask. It's gorgeous, but it is very tight. And it is a little bit smothering. So just check it on that, my man.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, and Michael, I have no idea what my first rankings were, and I love it that way. I don't think they've changed a whole lot, but I felt like there's some things that have changed that are going to bring some shockers. So, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, and your costume contest, dude. That shit was so much fucking fun. Like seriously. Like that was an absolute blast.
Thank you so much, Michael, for being one of the judges and just a part of it, man.
Well, dude, I was the tech guy too. Let's not forget I was the tech guy.
That's what I was gonna say. Helping me with the electronics and stuff, and it was, dude. It really hit me in the heart, man. Just how many people showed up, the passion they had, you know, the effort and the love they put into their costumes. It was awesome to see, bro.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude. That's freaking awesome.
And I never say bro, so it must have been really exciting.
Hell yeah, dude. So let's see who we got in the chat. Let me give a hello to everyone, dude. Let's say hi to all our friends here tonight, and then we can go ahead and get started because we got 13 movies that we want to go through. And I was telling Matt backstage, we were talking about it a little bit. You know, we're not going to give a synopsis of each film that we, go over. We'll just talk about why we put it, where it was. And, when you get, on the lower ones, you kind of like to say, the reasons why it's so low. And probably when you get to the, the really good ones, you kind of want to talk about why it is, where it's at, for sure. But let's go ahead and go through here. Let's see. Jerry Wilson in the chat saying hello, Michael and Matt. Let's get it. That's what I'm talking about. Jerry, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Jerry?
What's up, dude? And he's also saying, please take that 2 seconds and smash that like button. If you could do it in 1, I'll appreciate you even more. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you so much for that. Yes, if you have not hit that like button yet, please hit that like button. It helps out the channel more than you know. Paula is in the chat as well, saying hi to everyone. What's up, Paula? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Always good to see you here. And I hope everything's going well over on your channel. If you guys have not checked out Paula's channel yet, I see she's doing shorts over there on YouTube. She's just starting out. So why don't we go over there and give her a little bit of support over there? Paula doing good things. Don't stop. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you. Let's see. Jerry's also throwing up the Patreon link. If you'd like to support Movies and Beyond outside of YouTube, you can do so on Patreon. That's kind of how I pay the bills over here. So if you would like to support me outside of YouTube, you can do so at the link that Jerry has provided there. Kindly. Thank you for that, Jerry. Let's see. Val from Val's Views is in the chat saying happy Sunday, y'all. The General's in the chat, and she always gets a salute from Movies and Beyond. What's up, Val? I almost said happy Friday. Holy shit, what's wrong with me? Happy Horror Hangout Sunday. What's up, Val? I hope you're doing well. Sarah is in the chat as well saying, hey, friends, what's up, Sarah? I hope you're having a great Sunday. I keep wanting to say Friday. It almost came out of my mouth again, Matt. What's going on with me today? Happy Sunday. I hope you're having a great day, Sarah.
And in your defense, man, you're probably just going through withdrawals, dude. You seriously need some Friday action. We all do. But yeah, for you, it's got to be, dude, it's killing me. We need Jason, but enough of that.
I think that's totally what it is, man. But dude, I did wear a Halloween shirt today. So I'm rocking the old school Halloween shirt, which did make me happy today. And I also see that Sarah has hit her 8-month member status. Congratulations, Sarah. And thank you again for supporting this channel for as long as you have. I appreciate it more than you know. And again, congratulations on being a part of the family Not that everybody's not a part of the family that's here, but for 8 months. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you. She's saying here for a good time and a long time. That's what I am talking about. Thank you. Oh, let's see. And James has entered the chat. The Shape is in the chat saying hello, everybody. I almost said everyone. Hope you had a great week. I hope you had a great week too, James. And it was awesome seeing you in full shape get up yesterday, man. I hope you're doing well, my friend.
Yeah, it's great to see you, James. And I see that you said, you know, that you love the costume, James. This one right here. This is a screen accurate blue undershirt. And James, thank you. He gave this to me, guys. It is perfect, and I thank you so much, James. It completes the outfit. You're the man, brother.
Oh yeah, dude. I love that you're rocking the 18 too, man. I couldn't be happier.
I thought you might like that. I thought you might like that.
Sometimes you got to do things for Michael, and he's appreciative. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to give anything away, but I like that 18, man.
Look at that close up. Look at that.
Yeah, that's fucking sick, dude. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see. Lydia's in the chat saying, Heidi ho, officers. What's up, Lydia? Happy Sunday. I hope you're having a great day.
Hello, Lydia.
Jeff DeAngelo has entered the building. Jeff's in the chat saying, hey, everybody. Happy Horror Sunday. Happy Horror Sunday, Jeff. I hope you're having a great day, my friend.
Yeah, and Jeff, man, I hate to say it. I know he planned on bringing a different costume to the contest, and some things fell through. But Jeff, dude, I thought you looked fantastic.
He did.
You and Kaylee, both looked fantastic, dude.
I'll tell you what. There were two people that entered the contest that I wasn't sure who it was, and Jeff was one of them. Like, who the hell is? Oh shit, that's Jeff. You know what I mean? And the other was Tim Pumpkin. I was like, I have no idea.
Exactly.
I have no freaking idea. Let's see. Val reminding everybody to please make sure to hit that like button. Yes, please make sure to hit that like button. Thank you for that, Val. You guys always got to remind me. I'm terrible at it. You guys do a great job of doing that. Thank you. Thank you. Jacob Ware is in the chat as well saying hello, everyone. What's up, Jacob? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Happy Sunday. Always good to see you here. Let's see. See, Michelle's in the chat saying hey to everyone. What's up, Michelle? I hope you're having a good Sunday. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Mr. Rick has hit 7 months. 7 months as a member saying glad to be a part of this group. This should be fun. Mr. Rick, thank you so much for your it's much you do for the channel, man. Being a member for 7 months, it means the world to me, dude. Thank you and congratulations on 7 months, man. Congratulations, Mr. Rick. Always good to see you here, brother. And I think that I missed one as well. Val also hit her 8 months saying, I'm with Sarah here for the good times. Hashtag Thug Life. That's what I'm talking about. Val, thank you so much, my friend, for all you do for the channel, the investment in being a channel member. Congratulations on 8 months, my friend. Thank you. All I can say is thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. And congratulations if I didn't say that. I'm old. Things go in my brain and they're right back out. Let's see. Man, Mom is in the chat, aka Teresa Stevens, saying hello, everyone. I thought I'd stop in and say hey and thank everyone who joined us for our costume contest and Michael and Lydia for judging it. Hell yeah. And don't forget Mad Dad. He was judging it too. There were 3 of us. And Terry did his thing as well, but I'm sure that you probably thanked him in person. But
yeah, I'll tell you what, right back at you, Mother. You did so much behind the scenes to get the whole damn thing going. Love you, Mother. Great to see you on here. And yeah, for all you do, thank you so much.
Hell yeah. Great job, Teresa. Great job. I know that you were the behind the scenes. You were pulling the strings, Teresa. I know. I could see it. I knew you were.
Yeah.
I knew you were.
Let's face it, guys. I couldn't put all this together. It'd be an absolute shit show.
She keeps it all together. Yeah,
she does. How about those amazing the candy hands that Lydia put together? Those were fantastic.
Oh yes, the we passed out the hands. Yes.
Yeah.
The kids
and
love those.
Tossing those things, man.
Yeah,
I was feeling like Peyton Manning out there, dude.
what was funny is Terry, Lydia, and I were sitting there talking about the winners, and we decided, and we came up like, Matt, here's who the winners are. And you were like, hey, did you hear me plug Movies and Beyond? I did a great job with it, man. And I was like, dude, I didn't even freaking hear it. I didn't even hear nothing. I didn't hear any bit of it. And you were standing there like, hell yeah, man, I did a great job with that. And there was nobody to tell me it was great besides you, man. I was like, well, damn it, man. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
Oh, let's see.
Gotta have each other's back these days, dude.
Hell yeah, man.
Sure.
Hell yeah. I see Melissa the Wild Card is in the chat saying, hey, Sarah, Val, Lydia, Matt, and Michael. What's up, Melissa? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Happy Sunday horror hangout day. I hope you're having a great Sunday. Always good to see you here, my friend. Always good to see you.
For sure. What's up, Melissa?
Mr. Rick, you're killing me, brother. You are freaking killing me. He's saying, I'm not just saying this, but you are my favorite YouTuber. Enjoy your stuff, all that. Dude, thank you so much, man. That means the world to me, brother. And hearing something like that, dude, it makes me want to keep doing stuff. Like, thank you. Thank you.
So that's awesome. That is freaking awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Rick. Freaking made my day right there, brother, and you have no idea. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get. Did I miss anybody? I want to make sure that I get. I see Katie from Popping the Popcorn is in the chat as well, saying hi, friends. What's up, Katie? I hope you're having a great Sunday. Always good to see you here.
Yeah, it's great to see. Has it been a minute since Katie's been on here? I do believe. Great.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Always good to see Katie popping through. For sure. Let's see.
I'm telling you, I'm starting to see where Michael's coming from, dude. This whole stabbing thing is kind of fun, man. It's kind of scaring myself. I'm digging it.
James is throwing this up, and I gotta throw this up, and we'll get started on Halloween. I promise. Right here, the shape is saying Mad Dad Otis Driftwood. I don't know what that means, but that's freaking hilarious to me. Like, I absolutely love it. James, you're awesome, dude. You're freaking
Otis
awesome.
Driftwood is who he was.
Oh, is that who? Dude, when I saw Mad Dad, I didn't even know who he was, dude. Yeah, I saw him.
Otis,
he was up there shaking his hair like this.
From House of a Thousand Corpse.
Is that who it was? All right.
You remember when he walks out in the field and he's wearing that red robe and he's got his face painted?
Yeah, like it's been a minute too. It is freaking been a minute.
Dad was Otis from the Devil's Rejects trilogy, man. Yep.
Oh yeah, man.
But dude, yeah, seeing him in that wig and the hair flip, it was too much. It was too much.
It made me laugh. All right, my man. You are my guest. Right? You are my guest. So we will start with number 13. We are ranking the Halloween movies, and we are going to start with our number 13. Matt, which Halloween is the Halloween that you like the least? Which is your number 13? And there it is.
Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay, I heard a little beep. See, that sucker is tight. But we're getting serious. I wanted to get the mask off.
I got you.
I think you can all guess where I'm coming at. Nothing's changed. It's I pretty much see myself dying with this as my last ranking, unless something very, very out of left field comes out there. Right. It is Halloween Ends, guys. Because I almost feel like, I'll just say this real quick.
Yeah.
All the reasons, that you'll hear from most people to tell you why the people who dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
I have all those same exact reasons, but I also have a huge level of, just that the film stabbed me in the back and was just just almost like a, F you to everything you loved about Halloween and growing up. I felt very disrespected.
Yeah.
I have no, I'm not like, I hate these guys, I don't want to hate anyone. They tried to do something different and it wasn't for me. And it was for some people. I think that's great. But if I'm just being truthful about how I feel, everything that most people, I feel the same way. But I also there's this big part of me that was like, this is the franchise I've loved. I've dreamt of a showdown ending, between Michael and Laurie. And this is what you give me. Just disgraceful. I can't stand the film. I've never even been able to watch it a second time. I've tried, I've got a bug up my butt. I'm like, let's just, go through it again. And there's something about it. I can't even watch the movie. Halloween Ends 13 for me.
Halloween Ends. And dude, I for some reason I did forget that. Like I was just like, okay, I had an idea what you were gonna pick, and it wasn't that. And then I was like, oh yeah, he really, really doesn't like Ends. He really doesn't.
No.
For me, number 13. And I know that this has always been my number 13, but it's almost interchangeable with my number 12. But it still edges out my number 12. I'm going Halloween Resurrection for 13. And I won't spend a whole lot of time on this. I did rewatch it about a month ago. I did make sure I did that because like once a year I like to revisit these movies for so I can still talk about them, and it doesn't go out of my brain. But there's so much with that movie that just I did feel disrespected, kind of like you did with Ends. With Busta Rhymes standing there cussing out Michael, and Michael just walks away. You could talk about Michael getting kung fu kicked out of the window where he does a backflip and hangs himself. You could talk about the end where they beat Michael by shocking him in the balls with 2 wires. There's just so many things with that movie that was so uncharacteristic of Michael, and the way that they did things and the way that they made him look. It just didn't work for me. This movie, I saw what they were trying to do with it, and to me it just failed miserably. And this will always be like you said, kind of piggyback off what you said. If something comes through that's just abysmal, it'll still stay at 13. It's just the bad one will be 14, because there'll be another movie. But I see this, the only way it's going to go is up if new stuff comes out. So if there is another movie that comes out, it'll probably be my number 14 when we get to that. But Halloween Resurrection, that's going to be my number 13. Hell yeah, dude. That's staying. That is staying for me at that spot. But number 12, what are you thinking for number 12?
These are it's funny because like the in-betweens, like you were saying, I have most fun talking about the ones you hate the most and the ones you love the most, yeah. And I think that goes for most people. Like, you'll notice a lot of people, what they hate is like something they can't shut up about most of the time,
Yeah.
So, all right, man. So moving on, bust out the old list here.
He said, I got him down.
Okay. I'm not getting to Resurrection yet. Not getting to Resurrection just yet. There's some doozies. For me, and these are fun, dude. We are talking about a beloved franchise. Like,
yeah,
I could just see with our answers, so many different people brewing at different times. And like we said, it's all in fun, but it's fun. For me, it's Halloween 3, guys.
Right.
And I got a couple little creatures I'd like to show. If I could, Lydia, could I gotta, for some of these Halloweens, I just want to I gotta show a few things for fun. So Halloween 3, and again, I'm with most people. I got this VHS at my local video store, right?
Yeah.
Got home, it says Halloween 3 on it. You've seen 1, you've seen 2. So what are you? You're stoked for 3, right?
Yeah.
So you're stoked for 3. I get home and I watching for a little while, kind of like what's going on. You fast forward for a little bit and you're like, okay, about to be Michael by now. And, you get through the whole damn film and no Michael, and you're just dumbfounded. So I despised it, right? I just despised it. then I got a little bit older. I started seeing that it was coming kind of full circle, and there was, it was starting to gain some popularity, get a cult following, so to speak, even. So I checked it out with my mother to just kind of see, like you hear a lot of people say, watch it for what it is, not for a Halloween movie, and see what you think about it then.
Right.
So I did just that. And it was almost worse. It was almost worse. I just couldn't get into the concept, these masks and they're melting. And, but I got to say one cool thing that did come out of Halloween 3 for me was the mask and the merchandise. I can't not say that. The masks are super sick. Just a lot of cool merchandise. I'll show some of these little guys real quick, like there's the witch.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
That's just a little NECA figure, but the witch, the classic witch. And then you have the skeleton. You got the skeleton dude from Halloween 3. The merchandise, dude, whether they're on purchase, like a purse or, they're the mask, the merch is sick and it sells really well. And then here's your, and I think these are the rotted versions where there's snails coming out or snakes and stuff. But I just wanted to show a little something for 3. So I give it props for that. But like I said, Michael, I couldn't even get on board for just what the movie was. Just not my jam. And no, Michael, can't stand it, buddy.
I got you. Jerry does say Michael is in 3. Well, Dick Warlock is in 3. And technically, Michael is in 3 when they go to the bar and they're watching the TV. You get the trailer for Halloween as Michael's walking down the stairs on the TV. And then, when they're tied up at the end, you got Halloween on the TV. You got the music and everything. Just not the type of Michael you were expecting to get in there for sure. For me, going number 12, I got to go with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This one right here for me, oh my God, man. The thing that puts this above Resurrection for me is the beginning, at the hospital, where Michael's chasing her through. I like the look of Michael and everything, but Scout, she's in the little booth and everything. Michael kills the security guard. He's walking around. Tension's good. I'm like, you know what, dude? This movie's really going somewhere. And then it didn't. They focused a lot on, Laurie Strode's PTSD, and it almost became to a point to where I was just like, I am tired of this. It just didn't hit for me. This one right here is one that I really don't like to go back and rewatch, but I do it for shows like this. It's so far gone for me. I think that this is probably close to my Halloween Ends feeling that you have. I have with this. And I mean, don't get me started on the whole white horse thing, Michael talking at the end. There's so many things in this movie that I get why some people like this movie. Some people see the symbolism in the white horse and all of that stuff. But to me, that doesn't work. To me, again, I will keep saying that, to me, that doesn't work for Michael, in that aspect, all of that stuff. So this one, another one. Like I said, the only thing that's edging out this over Resurrection is the beginning. The first 10 minutes of this movie, I thought was pretty good. I thought they were going in a great direction with this. And then it ended up being a dream and everything. But you know what? Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, that is going to be my number 12. And I do believe when we did this a couple years ago, this was the same order that I had these in. And that has not changed for sure.
And, adding to a little bit of what you said, even with them focusing so much on her PTSD, it almost even gets a little depressing, at times.
It does.
With seeing their relationship with Annie and stuff. But you said something that interested me, Michael. That you can see why some people like the film, and I can agree with that. But it's got to be a direction that you're comfortable and okay with, and I'm right there with you. I did not love this film. But yeah, and I'm right there with you also, with the dream sequence. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It
started with a bang, man.
Back up.
Yeah.
Let's pop some popcorn, dude. We're on a ride here. And then it just
right.
Took a nosedive for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, man. 100%. All right, dude. We're at number 11. We have reached number 11.
All right. So I have made it to Resurrection. We have made it to Resurrection for me. I don't have much to add. I was never a what do you call the type of film with the cameras in the house,
It's kind of like a reality based.
Never into any of that. And I sure as hell didn't want it to have anything to do with a Halloween movie ever. So yeah. And the Busta Rhymes, no disrespect to Busta Rhymes, but he also does not fit, his style did not fit in the Halloween movie. And, talking shit to Michael, karate chopping him is something you just can't unsee. I didn't mind his look, like you said. It's about somewhere in the middle for me.
It's not the worst, right?
No,
like
for me,
it's definitely not the worst.
Yeah, it almost looked like a pissed off Michael wearing a little bit of makeup.
Yeah, and I mean,
like a little mascara.
They could have hit his eyes better, though. You know what I mean? Like he's just straight eyeball, like through the whole thing. Like it's just like
it's been a hot minute, honestly. That since I've watched that. But I'll definitely watch it over 3 because I at least get to see Michael, and I love Michael Myers, guys. And I'll definitely watch it over Ends because it's a disrespectful film, but it's not effing disrespectful. So that's where I am.
All right. I mean, I can't say anything about you putting Resurrection there. You saw where it was for me.
Oh, here we go. And let me real quick. I'll give you guys. There's that figure behind you, Lydia. And we'll wait on that. We'll get down to we'll wait on Resurrection. I got some other figures.
All right.
But I was going to show you guys that mask, but you've all seen it. But I'll show you some cooler ones down the road.
All
it's
right,
kind of hard to get to.
Number 11 is me getting to one that I love to talk about because it's a movie that I love to. I don't want to say hate, but I do kind of. You know what I mean? I feel like it was the movie that came out that kind of sunk the franchise at that point. And so my number 11, I'm going with Halloween 5, baby. Halloween 5 to me is a complete and utter crapshoot. Like this movie, there's so much wrong with this movie for me. How you go from Halloween 4 to Halloween 5 is just freaking beyond me. I mean, I don't want to talk about all the things that I think are wrong, but let me talk about a few of them. Like you get that great finish of Halloween 4, Michael in the graveyard getting blasted down into that hole. He gets shot so hard it changes his entire mask because when he comes out of the hole, he's wearing a whole different mask that looks nothing like the one he went in with. So they shot him so hard his face changed. Shot
the mask right off that some bitch.
It didn't even. It just changed the whole face. And he's down the river. He gets there, lives with a guy for a year. Like they never explained that. Like, did he lay on that bed for an entire year, or did they converse for a year? And then Michael decided one day, like, I've had enough of you. I'm going to put the mask back on. It's close to Halloween. Now I have this tattoo on my wrist that I didn't have in the last movie that links me to other people. Now I have friends. I have a team with me, and we're going to go Team Thorn, and we're going to start chasing people. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to happen because we all have a matching tattoo now. That happened. Jamie Lloyd, one of the highlights of Halloween 4, we don't have any dialogue for her, so we're going to make her a mute. You know what I mean? We're not going to let her talk at all. And that girl, Rachel, that did such a good job in 4, we're going to kill her off in about the 10-minute mark of this movie. We don't need her anymore because we got Tina now, because Tina's awesome. We got Tina now. She's not annoying at all. We're going to go ahead and put her in there. And now this movie's really coming together. The only shining light of this movie is Donald Pleasance playing Loomis. Like, you know, he's off the rails in this movie. He's grabbing a little kid, shaking her like, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh my God, dude. Like, you know, like I understand you're mad. You've been chasing the shape for about 15 years now, you know, and you got to the point where you're just going to shake the hell out of somebody to get some information. I understand. Like, I get it, man. Then you get the scenes where he's walking around and, you know, you've got the two standing outside of Jamie's. I guess she was in a hospital or whatever that was. They're having a conversation. You see Michael under a tree, like kicking rocks and walking around. Like, it's like, what's his shape doing? Like, why is he just walking around under there? And yes, that's Michael Myers. Did they not plan on having that in the movie? Did he get in there by accident? Was Don Shanks like, fuck it, I'm just going to walk around under this tree and twirl my knife around? Like, nobody's going to see me here.
Michael, I don't know if
the Myers house, and there's a big Victorian mansion. It's changed from a little 2-floor building to this giant Victorian mansion, and be like, "That's go home, Michael." It's like, dude, that's not your home. None of that looks anything like your home, and now you're in a Victorian style fucking mansion. There's no way in Halloween 1 little Michael walked around that whole damn house and went in the back door and killed his sister. Like, it would have taken him 15 minutes to walk around that house. It was so damn big. Anyway, Halloween 5 is my number 11. They introduced the Man in Black. They have no ending for that story. He comes in, Michael's in a cell, you know, chained up on his knees, still left his mask on him. You know, that was nice of them to do. You know, the guy comes in with a Tommy gun and he ends up being the doctor. Why did he ride the bus? And why the hell did he kick the puppy when he got off the bus? That makes no sense to me. None of this makes sense to me. I feel like Halloween 4 was so good, and then you jump into Halloween 5 and you just basically took a dump on the series, and now you've got to make a Halloween 6 that tries to account for the mess of Halloween 5, and that's why Halloween 5 is my number 11. So that must really tell you what I think about Resurrection and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 for Halloween 5 to be my number 11, because this is a complete shit show to me.
I don't know if I know the scene you're talking about where Michael's just randomly walking around kicking rocks.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Yeah, I'll send you a link. When Tina and her blonde-haired friend, they're going to see Jamie, and then Mike comes driving. They're like, Mike, he's like, what? You know, and he pulls his car in. They end up getting in his car, and he's like, we can go see Jamie later. When they're standing there having a conversation, Michael's under the tree, just walking around in circles under the tree. It's so noticeable, and it's so bad, man. Like it's beyond me. It's unfreaking believable.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, man.
Halloween 5 is my number 11. Don't let me rant.
Don't hold back.
I can't help this. Michelle says, how much caffeine did you have today, Michael? You know, I didn't have a lot of caffeine. It's just like Halloween 5 does that to me. Like, I'm sorry. It's just Halloween 5 should be in our number 13, but you know.
So number 10.
Well, actually, yes, number 10. All right.
Yeah. Did you got something?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Good.
So yeah. Yeah, there's the resurrection. You know, pretty cool mask. Somewhere in the middle for me. You know, looks like like they tried to put like some character in the face. But yeah, there's the resurrection.
Hell yeah.
So
hell yeah.
For me, 10, I'm going. I had to double check. I'm going Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
All right.
Not a fan, man. Not a fan. But then I feel like I say over and over, I am a huge fan of the franchise. So even being number 10, it's a film I can watch every now and again. You know, because there are some scenes I really dig, even past the dream sequence. There are some. They're few and far between. I don't like the whole route they went. I hate what they did with Loomis. I absolutely despise what they did with Loomis. You know, he just became an asshole, arrogant, you know, just trying to make his blood money and could give two shits about anybody else. And that's just not Loomis. That's not Loomis. I thought that was really weird. The white horse. I mean, I agree with you on most of what you said. But there are some scenes I dig, out in the field, when he comes across the redneck, so to speak, and puts it on them. And there's some scenes I like. I like the stripper scene, slamming the guy in the back, and stomping his head in, and slamming the girl against the mirror and things like that. So there's some shots and things I can get down with. I did not like him speaking. I'm with you on that. The whole die thing is like, just no, don't. But aside from that, I didn't mind so much like the being held up there, and then Loomis trying to redeem himself and go in there with the cops, the helicopters over top. Thought was kind of a cool setting. I'm not by any means, I'm not saying this is my favorite ending or anything, but it just had some things going for it that were kind of cool. But yeah, dude, I'm with you. From what that beginning gave you to what the movie became, it took a huge nosedive. I don't want to see Michael talking to his dead mother with a white horse. And I wish they would have kept the look from the dream sequence. I thought he looked fantastic. And then he got this whole hobo get up thing that was just a little much for me with the backpack and
yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is, man. Not my favorite, but it's not number 13 either. So
that much it is, man. One thing I want to throw this up here too, Mr. Rick is saying the only good thing that came out of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is Brad Dourif's performance. What an actor. Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Especially when Annie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but when Annie dies, you know what I mean? You really get to see that come out of him, for that. And I do agree with that, Mr. Rick, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
All right, man. Well, I'm jumping into your territory for my number 10, and I am going with Halloween Ends. I will put Halloween Ends at number 10. There are a lot of my dislike for this movie is based upon what would be the right word? It's based upon the expectation of what this movie was supposed to be in my head. It's not so much that they did anything terrible in this. It's just more of the way that I'm going to sound like a crybaby about it. It didn't go the way I wanted it to go. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what it was. This movie was promoted one way, and it was, shown, another. So, there's so many things with this movie. It's very Christine. This movie is very Christine. It follows a character that was a decent character. There's nothing wrong with the character of Corey. Corey Cunningham. Fine, but introduce him in kills. Don't make the whole story about someone that you're releasing in one movie that's ending a trilogy. Like, this was supposed to be my Return of the Jedi for Halloween, and to me it felt like the main characters got kind of a side story, at the end, to where it was billed as a movie that said, hey, this is the final showdown between Michael and Laurie, buckle up. And we get a very small portion of that to end this film. So for me, Halloween Ends, I get all the things that they were trying to do with it. I get all the meanings that are woven through this movie, and that's fine. But to me, it just wasn't the Return of the Jedi that I wanted for the David Gordon Green trilogy, and that's why I put it at number 10. And again, this is my opinion. Agree with me, disagree with me. We're all entitled to our own. But I don't know. This movie goes like up and down a spot for me every now and then. Like, it's like, okay, well, it's really, and then it gets to certain parts. It's like, nah, that's got to go back. Like, that can't be there. But yeah, so Halloween Ends is my number 10. And I think that's a pretty solid spot for it, for sure. All right.
All right.
Let's see. Let me get
to number 9.
Number 9.
Yeah, James, I think most people agree with you for sure. For sure.
Number 9.
Thank you for that, Lydia. Thank you so much. Number 9 for me is going to be Halloween 5, Michael.
Right.
and I almost I didn't remember what all was bad with it, but you enlightened me. You definitely.
When do I ever go on a rant? I never go on a rant. I felt ranty
because
with that.
I couldn't remember that many bad things about 5. Let's face it, it is number 9 for me. So there's quite a few movies that are that I like worse, or I'm sorry, that I hate worse.
Yeah.
Because I can get down with 5 every now and again. It's just very in the middle. But I agree with you. Now, what was her name that they killed off almost immediately?
Ellie Cornell was Rachel. Yeah.
Okay, I could not agree with you more. She was fantastic in 4.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see her for a little bit, man, and then just kill her, man. And then Tina's up there for most annoying horror character of all time. Like, she'll give anybody a run for their money
in the conversation. Yeah,
she's in the conversation, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
The house, what the hell? You're right. Some things are so bizarre and so off that you can't even wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
I could see like them having like a window that's a little off, or maybe the porch has 5 posts is supposed to have 6, or something like that. But
even with the Halloween 6 house, it didn't look the same, but you could be like, okay, they could have had some work done to it. I could see how that could possibly be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even that's pretty bad. But yeah. But this house was just what you might as well put them in a little apartment building. But and now what I have to say though is, son of a bitch, if the look of part 5 hasn't grown and continues to grow on me. Yeah. I know this mask is hated. It's called the Nicolas Cage. It's called all kinds of stuff, but I've always thought it was so bad that it's just got this great, for me, it's got this amazing creep vibe to it. And I do absolutely love his look. And it also has some scenes I dig. I kind of dig the car chasing scene, out in the field. I love Donald Pleasance in it. I love their stare down and their showdown on the staircase, that whole scene. So there you go, dude. It's got some cool parts. It's got more bad than good. I love Michael's look in it. But that's about all I can say. The ending was terrible. It was terrible. And then, like you said, whether I like the mask or not, it's very strange that he floats down the river with one mask, wakes up and grabs a different one.
Well, no, he actually had that mask on while he was floating down the river.
That's right.
I'm not afraid to say this, but I paused.
So it was mid-fall.
Like
mid-fall.
Yeah, like
he changed.
He got shot so hard it changed his face. You know what I mean? Like they blast him into changing his face there. And it just,
you're right. He does float down the river with it. You're right.
It's just like, what? I mean, when you notice it as a kid, the first Halloween I saw in theaters was Halloween 4. So of course I went and saw 4, 5, 6.
I did not notice it as a kid.
Yeah. And it's just like, I even noticed in 4 that the cover poster was a different mask than was in the movie. And so I was thinking 5, when that poster came out, I was like, well, they got the original mask in there. Maybe, it'll kind of, and it was worse. And I was like, what? When you're 11 years old and are like, that's not right. You know what I mean? Like, that's bad. That's bad.
Why could they always nail the poster? Why could they always nail the posters? Were spot on. They were beautiful. They were beautiful.
I love the posters. Both of them are fucking awesome.
You get to the movie and you're like, ouch.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even the Halloween 4 poster, if I'm not, hold on. Yeah, it's got the house. It's got the freaking the babysitter's house on it. It's crazy, man. It basically, marketed the, original Halloween film as, being in the movie, but here nor there. Yeah, for sure. Let me get to my number 9. Let's go there. Number 9 for me, I'm going Halloween 3, and it rhymed. Number 9 for me is Halloween 3. Yeah, Halloween 3, that's kind of one that goes a little up and down for me. Like, I can appreciate it for what it was, but going back to what you were saying, yes, originally when I saw that movie and I rented it from the video store, I was very disappointed. You know, I didn't even finish it the first time I watched it. You know, it was just like, oh, Michael's not in this. You know, you go through the fast forward on the VHS. I did get to the part to where they were in the bar and he was walking down, and I was like, well, there's Michael, but it's on TV. I don't think that I saw this movie until a few years later, where I actually sat there and said, you know what, I'm going to watch this. And I didn't like it then. It's one of those movies that's kind of grown on me, but it's also one of those movies that I can't watch that often. Like if it's on TV every now and then, I'll be like, oh, I'll watch a little bit of Halloween 3. You know, but I have a hard time saying, you know what? I think when I look at all my movies, Halloween 3 seems like a good movie to watch tonight. And that's why it is where it is. You know, I think that it was down on my list a little lower. Like I thought it was a little better when we did this a couple years ago. If I'm not mistaken, I could totally be wrong on that. But like I said, this is one of those. I'm kind of in like a section right now of where movies can be interchangeable with the one above it and the one below it. You know, like on any given day, I could say I'd rather watch Halloween Ends than Halloween 3, and vice versa. So we're kind of getting into that section of my list where it's a little interchangeable. But yeah, Halloween 3 for me. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate Tom Atkins. I know, you know, Dick Warlock was in this movie. I thought it was unique. I know it was John Carpenter's vision to do something different, him and Deborah Hill, and they did. But it just didn't hit with me the way that I think that they wanted it to hit with everyone. And plus, the marketing in this movie didn't really help them either. You know, they didn't say like Michael Myers is gone. This is going to be something different. But yeah, so number 9 for me, Halloween 3. And that's I feel solid about putting that right there for sure. All right, Matt, we are down to number 8.
Right on. I feel like this starts the transition of the Halloween movies that I favor. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're starting that transition where I've got, at least where I can say I've got more good to say than negative about them. And so for my 8, I'm going with Halloween 4.
Okay. Oh, wow. Interesting. Hot take.
Yeah, I'm going with Halloween 4. I know a lot of people probably have this higher up on their list. I'll say one thing off the bat, and this shouldn't surprise anyone. One thing I do struggle with is Michael's look in 4. It's okay. It's probably my least favorite mask in the entire franchise. And let's not kid ourselves. I fell in love with the Halloween franchise because I was obsessed with this man in this white mask. I really was. It just looks so poor that I had to get around that. Now it's got a great story. It has a great story. I do enjoy this film. You brought up Michael a while back, and I keep going back to that. And I feel like there's so many scenes that I'd love to see with a better mask on. Like when you brought up, the lightning where Michael's
so good, dude,
is right there, but he's got that terrible mask on, but it's such a cool shot.
Yeah.
So many scenes in that movie are really cool. It's just, I wish he could look cooler.
He did look good in the rap though, man. Like in the rap before he had the mask, I thought he looked pretty good in the rap too.
The rap was pretty cool. And I love that whole beginning. Speaking of that, the rap, where it's when you're watching it the first time, you're so on edge. Like that's Michael. He's gonna wake up at some point. And I love when they get ready, right when they say they're transporting. That music hits.
Yeah.
And they're on the road, and dude, that's so good. That's so good. Mm-hmm. Loomis is on point in 4. I feel like he is on point. I always love Loomis, but 5, he's almost a little over the top, like you said, shaking the kids, going batshit. We don't have a police force.
Yeah. That's actually 4 that he doesn't have the police force.
Is that one? 4?
Yeah, that's 4.
But yeah, so I love Loomis in 4. I love him in 4. Him tracking him down to the gas station and that stare down is so great. His ride with the kooky old reverend. So much I love about 4, man. The chase at the end where he's on top of the car and falling down and getting back up and her hitting him, and I thoroughly enjoy 4. Wish he could have looked better. It's right there on the middle of how often I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's at, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Cool. Cool. Number 8 for me, I'm going with Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. The theatrical version, we will not be including the producer's cut, but I would happily do a show alone on the producer's cut. I'm just kidding. Don't ask me to do that.
I was hoping all week that it was going to get a little further. I was hoping all week.
No, this one for me. Let me start with something, because I did watch that this weekend. I watched it today, actually. Because this was one I needed kind of a refresher on. There was one scene in particular where I was like, you know what? I don't think that I've ever talked about this scene before, but I thought it was really cool. The scene where Jamie's in the barn, she's right before Michael kills her. Spoiler alert, the movie came out like 20 some odd 30 years ago. It's fine. She's walking through and the lightning flashes and you see Michael there. Michael's standing behind her, but the lightning flickers and then he's gone. You know what I mean? Creating that atmosphere I thought was really good. And something I've always appreciated about this movie is probably one of the best at showing that fall atmosphere. You know what I mean? It looks the most like fall to me. So I can believe that I'm in Haddonfield. I can believe that I'm in the Midwest during that time of year. Like, it creates that. And I will give that movie that. But there's a lot of stuff in this movie that I'm just like, wow, what are we doing here? This is where you're in the thick of things with the Circle of Thorn, the Circle of Thorn. Like, this is, it starts off in like a cave / hospital type thing. They're kind of combined. Like, part of the time you're in a cave, the other part of the time you're in a hospital. Then it becomes like an underground warehouse. She gets out and everything. I'm not going to go through the whole movie, but there's just a lot of things in this movie that were just ridiculous to me when you look at the grand scheme of things and where Halloween started to where it was in this movie. I will say this: Michael was vicious in this movie, which I can dig. Like, I like when Michael's a vicious Michael, but some of the things, like when he kills Jamie and then somehow has the time to burn that Circle of Thorns sign above her in the hay, stuff like that. A lot of ridiculous things in this movie to where I just, how the stars align depend on when Michael Myers shows up or not. Paul Rudd went into that as Tommy Doyle. Like, if you get this constellation of stars, that's when he'll be here. And we have that constellation. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, how did we go from this to end up here? With the doctor being a man in black, and then all of a sudden half the town's in on it. Mrs. Elrod stealing babies. You know what I mean? It's just like, number 8, that's where I'm going with this one. I just, even watching it now, like, I really got into it today. I really sat there and really paid attention to it. But unfortunately, this can go no higher than number 8. And it's probably interchangeable with Halloween 3 and possibly Halloween Ends too. It kind of falls in that low end of the movies that I don't like very much. I don't see it going any lower than where it is right now. But I am curious to where I had it 2 years ago. I am very curious about that. But that's my number 8, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, the theatrical version.
All right, let's get into these Myers that we love, man, because that's where we're headed, dude. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
So number 7 for me. Oh yeah, I gotta say, from now on, I'm enjoying these films. Number 7 for me is going to be Halloween Kills.
All right.
Halloween Kills. And I can sum up Halloween Kills pretty easily. It has a mixture of good and bad. It has some of the best scenes in the franchise. We've talked a lot about that fire scene, and for good reason. Yeah. It's absolutely sick. It's beautiful. It's James Jude in full Michael badass form, dude. And there's more. There's more from Kills. I start loving the and this isn't a popular opinion. I like Cameron. Cameron's not perfect by any means. Right. But who is? I feel like I can relate to him a little bit. I love his chemistry with his dad, with his old man. I, from seeing it from Hawkins. Hawkins is great and Kills. And then talking about the bad, and this is very interesting, but I have to say, if you were to take out the entire scene, and you guys know what I'm talking about, where they're chasing the little guy
in the hospital,
the poor guy through the hospital that is scared out of his mind, doesn't look a damn thing like Michael Myers, and they're chanting "Evil dies," and it goes on too long. It's cringy, it's kind of odd, and then it's just sad at the end. When he jumps. Say you take that out of the movie, and maybe a little bit of Tommy Doyle's like gathering everybody up, and if you go from one direction and show up in another direction, we'll hit. It was just he was cringy for me. He was, and I love that actor. I think we all do.
Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah.
I just couldn't get into him as this like, vigilante badass. Like it just wasn't working for me. It was cringy, I thought. You take those out of the equation, and it could be up there in my 1, 2, 3 spots, kind of like, because the good is that good. So that's where I'm at, man. I enjoy Kills. I can watch it just about any time because I know I'm going to get those cool scenes. I love the scene with the couple, flying the little electronic guy, and how vicious he is in there, pulling the guy through the wall, and that scene where he just keeps slowly stabbing him in the back with those knives. I thought it was just like it caught me off guard for David Gordon Green. Like it felt almost like a Rob Zombie Myers scene,
Right.
So I kind of liked that shock value that he brought with that. I was like, damn, they're getting really vicious here. So take the good with the bad.
Yeah, the thing with that scene is, they were showing Michael doing that with the knives, but in past Halloween movies, you would think that would be a dead person that they would find with all those knives in his back, and you would just wonder how it happened. They wouldn't necessarily show it, but Michael was ultimately doing it with like a childlike, like
curiosity.
Yeah, dude. Like maybe not curiosity, but his posture and his demeanor. That's the word I'm looking for. His demeanor was very childlike while he was doing that. If you go back and watch that, he like picks up a knife. He's kind of looking at it, figuring out where he's going to put the next one, puts it in, kind of looks at it like, is that where I want it to be? And then for the next one, it's just kind of very, it's childlike. You know what I mean? But
did you see that coming? Like
no, God,
I didn't either. I was like, wow, he's going again. And I was like, he's going again.
There's going to be a few more of these. You know what I mean? Like, it's freaking crazy. But I do love when that guy comes out, like, there's a big guy in there. He's wearing a monster mask. You know what I mean? Like, before he gets reached through and pulled through.
What's he want? Who gives a shit? God. Who gives a shit?
Right. I mean, he's kind of just saying stuff that, I'm thinking it. He's saying it. You know what I mean? Like, it's 100%.
Yeah. Well, what does he want?
Shit. For sure. All right, number 7 for me, and this has probably actually gotten a little better on my list from the last one. Who knows? It could be the same. I have no idea. Number 7 for me, I'm going with Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, 2007. Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. I'm not going to talk about this one too much for the simple fact this is one I probably watch once, twice a year. With this one, I think I've always said this. I think that it's a good slasher movie. I do. I think that it's interesting, but it's just not the things that I want to see, in my Halloween. Like I'm one of the people that like knowing, not knowing why Michael does what he does, and they spend the first 55 minutes of this movie before you even meet Laurie Strode, and the only reason I felt sad for Annie getting attacked, it wasn't my attachment to the character. It was my attachment to Jamie Lloyd from Halloween 4 being the same actress, because I don't feel like they spent enough time with us getting to know Laurie Strode and Annie and all of them for me to really care about them, for that being a standalone movie and not relying on, past Halloween movies for me to make that connection. Because they spent so much time in his childhood and in the hospital, that it was just like, okay, well, here's Michael. We got about 40 minutes left of this movie. Let's try to do it all in 40 minutes. I felt like it was super rushed to me in that aspect. I think they probably could have cut about a half an hour out of the beginning so that the later end of that movie you could build that connection and get more of that Halloween feel. You talked a little bit about Loomis in Halloween 2. I don't feel like he was a bad Loomis in Halloween 1. He was just a different Loomis. And I respect Rob Zombie for doing his own thing, because nobody wants a carbon copy of what's already out there. You know what I mean? You did your thing, Rob, and I salute you for it. But being the type of Halloween fan that I am, I'm just not like, that's just not the Halloween that I'm, that I really want. You know what I mean? And it all comes down to preference, right? You and I have always talked about, our love hate for Rob Zombie's Halloween, and shit, we've been talking about that for 2 years. You know what I mean? But that's where it is for me at number 7. It's probably like number 9 or number 10 last year. Like I said, I did watch that documentary that kind of helped me along with it a little bit, but I think number 7's a solid spot for Rob Zombie's Halloween for me. And that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 6.
Oh man, fun stuff. This is so fun. I've watched some of these movies so many times. This is a pretty solid go-to for me.
Oh yeah.
And it's one that Michael, if you or any of my friends brings this one up, do you want to watch it? I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
It's because it's not perfect, but it is fun. And I'm talking about Halloween H2O.
Yeah.
I just think it's a fun film. I really do. It doesn't have and there's never a part that's just too drawn out where you're getting bored. It kind of has a steady flow. You never wait too long to kind of see Michael. I love Josh Hartnett. We got Lori back. We got Jamie Lee back in there. Hell, I dig LL Cool J's character, as the Watchman. I thought it was entertaining. The look is right there, kind of in the middle. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I probably like it a little more than but it's nothing outstanding.
Right.
But it's fun, man. And let's face it. I will take their showdown in H2O any day over their showdown in Ends.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
When she tells the kids, go on, I got this shit. I love it. And I think that's like the first time, when she breaks that glass, gets that axe, hollers Michael, and that music hits. I'm like, hell yes.
Like, let's go.
Yes. Like, they did a fantastic job with their showdown. And there's just little bits and pieces like throughout the movie that I enjoy. Yeah. As simple as it is. I like when Michael breaks in to get the woman's keys in the bathroom, and she sees Michael through the stall door, and he does that slow little turn. I think it's a beautiful shot. I think that is an absolute beautiful shot. The beginning, it starts off with a banger, when he breaks into what is her name?
Marion.
When he breaks into Marion's place, and they have their little Marion puts up a hell of a fight too. Like for a minute, I'm like, she might get out of this.
She does her best.
She really does. She really does. I almost feel like if she was more worried about just finishing Michael off as opposed to hollering at the cops, she could have had him done for. But I enjoy the film, dude. It's a whole lot of fun. From start to finish, it keeps you entertained. It's a go-to for me quite a bit. I can always, anytime, watch Halloween H2O, brother.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So we're on number 6.
We are.
I'm like right behind you. My number 6 is Halloween Kills. And I will tell you this about Halloween Kills. I think that Halloween Kills is a collection of great scenes. It's just they don't go well together as a movie to tell a story. I think with this, like starting off with the flashback scene, I absolutely love it. I love that flashback scene.
Oh, I forgot to
I
mention that. Yeah.
literally felt like I was transported back to 1978. You know, the way that it looks, the graininess in the film, the feel, the music, Michael's look. It's just like, hell yes, give me more of this. Give me 5 movies just like this. Make them just like this. I'll love every single one of them. And then you mentioned the firefighter scene. I won't go into detail of that. Type of vicious that we've never seen Michael in a huge setting. Other than the only thing I could think that was close to it is maybe the operating scene in Halloween 6. You know, when he goes in and the doctors are in there, he kills a couple people through the flashing lights and stuff. But that was nothing like this. Like, this was straight out Michael walking out of a burning building. Like, you know, I could have gone out the back door, but fuck it, I'm coming out the front. I'm pissed. I'm taking all you guys with me. That's probably the most vicious that we've probably really ever seen Michael in a large setting like that. I think that his look is fantastic. I think James Jude Courtney killed it as Michael Myers. I don't feel like the fact that the movie is this far down on my list is by any means the fault of him or Andy Matichak or any of the other actors in this movie. It's just that it's like the way the movie is put together. It doesn't flow right, man. You mentioned the scene in the hospital. You could cut that whole thing out, because when I'm watching that movie, 9 times out of 10, when that part comes out, I go get another drink or another snack and I don't hit pause. You know what I mean? I just kind of let it go. I know what's going to happen. To me, it makes no sense how that happened. Tommy literally was looking at the TV in the bar where they showed Michael's face and that guy's face. They just had it blurred out so we couldn't see Michael's face, but he could see it. You know, he's looking right at the TV. We know that's not Michael. So yeah, there's a lot of things with this movie that, you know, I would definitely change. But at the same time, you know, I thought there was a lot of cool stuff in this movie too. Talking about, you know, that flashback scene, that's my favorite. You know, that's my favorite out of all of this. But yeah, for me, number 6 for Halloween Kills. I don't see it getting any better than that. Just because the story for me is just not. I just can't do it, you know, with the story. So.
Yeah, I literally got goosebumps in the theater when it went back to 1978.
Oh, me too.
And that's so rare. But I got goosebumps. I was like,
and the way Loomis looked, dude, I don't feel like you could do any better. You know what I mean? Like, Donald Pleasance isn't with us, but the way that they did it, like, you knew it wasn't Donald Pleasance, but it still represented the character well. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, the kid that was playing Michael in that, dude, like, if you're not talking to him to be Michael in this new TV show, I'd like to know who the hell you're talking to, because he killed it. From the walk to Michael's mannerisms, the way he came in and grabbed that cop up and threw him up against, I'm like, come on, dude, like, you can't, it doesn't get any better than that. When he's walking down the alleyway and you see him like face on, and young Hawkins yells, Michael, and he kind of turns around and then just walks sideways as he's shooting, dude, it looks so Michael to me. And it's one of the best. That picture of Michael walking down, and dude, it's the best Michael's ever looked to me. It is the best Michael has ever looked to me. It looks so damn good, man. For sure. So number 6 for me, Halloween Kills. That's where we're at, and we are down to number 5, my friend. We are down.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, we're just talking classics at this point. We're talking classics.
We are.
I'm gonna start shocking some people, man. I'm gonna start shocking some people. Now, I also want to say, granted, this is also where I struggled. And these movies, Michael, some of these could be easily switched around. You know, and depending on the mood, for sure. But I'm definitely there's no fibbing going on here. But I'll say that, you know what I mean? They can be switched around a little bit. 5 for me, I'm going Halloween 2018 is number 5.
Halloween 18 is number 5.
Halloween 2018, correct.
Okay.
You know, I was rocking the mask earlier, and that was a mask I talked to you about. It took a while to grow on me. You know, I know you liked it right away. A lot of people did. I don't know for me if it was just so different. But whatever it was, but I love it today, but it took a minute. Yeah. But 2018, what I give it so much credit for is you just do feel like you're watching a classic, authentic, true to the story Halloween film.
You do. Yeah.
That's what I feel like you're watching. You know, they're not trying anything super, you know, weird. You know, they're going 40 years later. You know, starting off with him in Smith's Grove, where he would be, and it's just put together very well, very well.
Changing the timeline again.
What's that?
Changing the timeline again.
Yeah, yeah. James Jude, I was so impressed with that man.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the first time we all got to see him as the Shape.
Yeah.
And there was so much hype behind this movie, and it did not disappoint. And I had to meet that man after this movie. I had to just say to him, thank you for bringing my character back that I've loved for so long, and in such amazing fashion, because he did, dude. His walk, I'm just like, how can you even emulate somebody that on point? It was so impressive. But the characters are good. You know, you build that relationship with the characters to where you give a shit about them. The Dr. Sartain, he was different, so Definitely. It took me a little bit of a minute to kind of, you know, feel him out.
He's no Loomis,
but he did his part. You know, he's no Loomis,
but
he did his part. He did it well. I don't think they wanted him to be Loomis. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely not.
They knew that. I
think they wanted you to think that he was going to be like Loomis, you know, at the beginning, and it kind of gave it like that turn. You know what I mean? When you find out he's not, I think that's what they were going for with that.
Yeah, and you know how they slowly kind of get him to Lori, and when she yells his name, and he kind of like, look, dude, it's just so good. The ending, I can go on and on. I won't, but it was beautiful. You know, the shot, like you've talked about a lot, of him looking up with the fire going, and he's just standing there stone cold. It's beautiful, dude. It's beautiful. And there's a lot of times with that last showdown, you know, with them going through the house and stuff, where you are kind of on edge, like you should be in a good, well-made horror movie. And it gives you that, you know, where is he? Where's he going to pop out at? And all this stuff. It was just a great ride from start to finish. Done well, felt true to Halloween. I love it.
Oh yeah, man. Michael was in there doing Michael things, man. And you know, the way it was set up, you know, Lori kind of had the advantage in her home, which she should. You know, it was definitely different for sure. So we're on number 5 now.
Yes.
Number 5 for me, Halloween H2O for number 5. And this is a recent development for me. This is one of those movies that can be interchanged as well. You know, it can move up one day, it can move down another day. You talked a lot about it, so I won't, you know, go on repeating the same thing, but I do feel I feel very close to what you said on a lot of things, you know, as far as the characters. Yes, they were good. The look of Michael, though, for me, like, I don't know. He just felt like I think they should have did better, considering it was the 20-year anniversary of Halloween. That's why they made it. They got, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis back for this, because prior to getting her for this movie was supposed to be released straight to DVD or VHS or whatever was around back then. This was straight to DVD. They had no intentions of this going to the theater. And then when she was on board, you know, it was like, oh, wait a minute, you know, we're going to change this story up. If you guys don't know these stories, you guys should read the book Taking Shape, part 2. It gives you like all the information about all the scripts that they were going to use for this movie. So when Jamie Lee Curtis comes in, they decide like, well, yeah, now we're going to make a theatrical release. I feel like they didn't make the necessary adjustments. I feel like we still got a straight to DVD Michael, but we got Jamie Lee Curtis. You know what I mean? I feel like we got a straight to DVD Michael in the theater, where I feel like if you're going to bring it back for 20 years, the 20th anniversary, do Michael better. You know what I mean? Make him look better. To me, when you get that silhouette of him walking through in the dark, it just to me, it just looks like I probably wouldn't be afraid of this guy, and I might be able to kick his ass. Like, he doesn't give me that, you know, the shape, that presence. Like, it's just not there for me. Like, if you really think about it, if you don the OG mask, talking about what we talk about Halloween 4, you know, if you don the OG mask, how iconic would that scene have been when she shuts that door and they have that face to face through the window? And that's the iconic mask. or hell, even a younger version of the 18 mask. I guarantee that hits way harder than it did. I see what they were trying to do. I applaud them for it. But Michael, to me, just looks kind of goofy, and it kind of takes me out of it a lot, with what you were saying about how the look kind of can take you out of a movie. And, they had 3 different Michael masks in this movie, one of which being CGI. When they're in the kitchen and, that kid turns around, I forget his name. He just turns around and looks, and you just have this like big blob of a somewhat Michael, like that. What was the name of the Hot Topic version of Michael Myers mask that they just released? Looking at her, you're just like, what are we doing?
It was weird. It was weird.
Why are we doing this? But to go along the lines, it is where it is because of the things like the end of the movie. Where she does have that showdown with Michael, and you get her screaming, walking through that empty schoolyard, holding that axe, and that music's hitting, and it's just like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, it gives you that feeling. It makes me ignore things like the fact that this looks like a Scream movie, sounds like a Scream movie, but I got it straight to DVD Michael in it. You know what I mean? But Laurie's there. I think that if the movie ended with her cutting his head off and that was the end of Halloween, it wouldn't have killed me. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's kind of poetic. The sister kills the brother. I don't understand why he's reaching out. And another thing that makes me not like Resurrection so much, because now you're telling me that Michael got naked in the back of this freaking ambulance, changed clothes with the ambulance driver, threw him in the back like he knew he was going to get pinned up against there. And then Michael went walking away into the woods.
No, he changed before he ever got in the ambulance. He was already changed out.
Okay. How? Like, because they picked his body up. I don't even know. Whatever. We're not going to figure that out here. But yeah, so Halloween H2O is number 6 for me. Or number 5 for me. And I'm definitely feel good with it being there for sure.
Yeah, it's a fun ride though. It's hard to not say that. It's a fun ride. Like, yeah. I mean, 5 is a good spot. 5's a good spot.
Not bad. And I think that comes with recency for me. Like, me of seeing, seen this movie recently, and I watched it a couple times. So I think that might help this movie out for me.
All right, man.
Got H2O.
What's that?
Number 5 too. Well done, Val. Well done. Go ahead, buddy. What you got for number 4?
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, James. And you look amazing in your kills mask, James. I'm absolutely amazing. The 4. Okay. Love to watch this movie. And I'll say we're starting to talk about a lot of movies where it does for me come down to some just how much they mean to me, how much I love to watch them. And there's going to be some in there that have that brings that younger person, out of me where, I loved it watching it as a young kid. And it's hard to, that can really grow on you. And it's hard to take that away.
Yeah.
So that goes into play. For me, number 4 is Halloween 2.
Okay.
I watched this a lot around Halloween time. It seems like it's just always on like AMC, and I love everything about it, really. I don't have much negative to say about Halloween 2. I love how it's a direct continuation from starting off with him just kind of wandering around, going to the Elrods and all that to get in the knife. I thought it was beautiful. Bumping into the kid in the street. And then we still got Laurie there, and we know that he's, we find out that they are related, and he's heading to the hospital for his sister. I thought was like another goosebump moment. Like, hell yeah, it made me understand like what's going on. And from Buddy, from him breaking through the glass when he's walking, and to one of my favorite kills with the one-arm scalpel and picks the girl up with just one arm and shows his true strength. And you're not messing with anybody, relatedly, to a man. You're messing with a badass dude. I absolutely love it. The ending is one of my absolute favorites, with the blood tears and the, turning on the gas and him, and he looks fantastic. Dick Warlock's portrayal was amazing. I absolutely love 2. Now, one thing you did bring up about 2, and I can agree, from like the beginning to end, there's a bit of a gap where I could see somebody saying they're a little bit bored. So I know you brought that up, and
I'm going to bring it up again. Yeah.
Well, I want to say I don't completely disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love it, I can see where you're coming from on that. But I guess the scenes I love outweigh that.
Oh, definitely.
I love to watch it. Number 4.
Hell yeah, man. Your number 4 is the same as my number 4, with Halloween 2. And this one for sure, like it gets into the thick of things, man, because it feels so much like the original, when it starts. You feel like you're in the same place. You feel like you're continuing from that night. Even starting off, for me, you don't know what death is. Dun, 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 you know what I mean?
I love that. I love that.
Like it's just like, okay, I'll take that. Like, I've always found that humorous. I laugh every time I see it.
I love that shit.
It's like, I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight. And Loomis looks over in classic Loomis fashion, like, you don't know what death is. And then he just takes off running. You know what I mean? And you have kind of the different score that's a little more, some people love it. I would have liked the other one better, but fine. It is what it is. I do enjoy the pumpkin at the beginning and going in and the skulls there and everything. I think that's super, super cool. You talked about, him taking the knife from the L-Rod. And, I always laugh too, because when he gets that knife and he goes, that girl's on the phone and she's like, oh, that happened right down the street. I don't know what's going on. And she walks into the living room. Michael just jumps up from the floor, to kill her. And it's like, well, where the hell was he? Where she didn't see him as she was walking into the room. It's just kind of like, was he squatting behind like an ottoman? Like, where did he come from? It's just like, and he's just there. And it's just like, I always kind of laugh at those parts. But, in the grand scheme of things, I think this is definitely one of the better Halloween films. You do have that stretch that you were talking about, that I do bring up with this movie, to where when I do watch it, it's one of those movies I kind of have to be in the mood to watch, because if I don't, then I'm going to get really tired in that in-between spot. With that. But other than that, man, I really enjoy this movie. Halloween 2, Dick Warlock. Yeah. I mean, he kind of gave a different look to Michael. He kind of gave a different walk to Michael. You brought up some of the cool scenes already. I think some of the scenes, though, were kind of recycled from the original Halloween, like with her trying to get into the hospital, banging, and Michael's getting closer and closer. Is kind of just a rehash of, what they did in Halloween 1, where he was crossing the street. She was banging on the door, waiting for Tommy Doyle to open it. It's just kind of like, well, I've kind of seen this before. You know what I mean? But okay, I'll buy it. Like, we can do this again. It was a good scene in the last one, but why not do it again? And I think that comes from where John Carpenter was saying, like, I didn't even know what to freaking do for this movie because I planned on never even making it. I think that kind of falls in. Let's recycle. Let's take some things that worked in the last one and let's bring it into this one. And that's fine. You can do that. That there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, dude, overall, Halloween 2 is hell yeah, man. It's a good movie, dude. And it is my number 4 for sure.
What about the fact that when she's on the ground and Loomis and all them are right there, she can't speak? As soon as they get in here, she just belts it out like she's Ozzy Osbourne.
Instantly,
and then she's like,
help. It's like,
that was so weird.
You couldn't have popped that help out like 2 seconds earlier when the door was still cracked and they would have heard you.
As a kid, I thought that was weird. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I learned to try not to make, I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan too. So I learned to try not to poke the bear with some of the stuff in the older days. Like, like if I really start poking these holes, I might start to not like some stuff here. And, but yeah, dude, I understand completely. Like, you could do that talking about, what I was saying, like, where the hell was he hiding it? If I'd have walked in that room on the phone, I probably would have looked at the floor and been like, oh shit, there's a guy squatting behind there. I should probably go out the other way. I'm not going to walk all the way up to him, just let him jump in front of me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not happening whatsoever. Let's see. Michelle saying, have a good night, everyone. Good night, Michelle. I hope you have a great night.
Good night, Michelle. Good night.
James saying, I love when the nurse's shoes fall off her feet and go plop.
Me too. I love that. love that scene just because you see his strength, dude. Like,
I know that Melissa always talks about this is the one Halloween movie. She always saying in the chat that scares the hell out of her still. So,
I love it.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
that's
it.
freaking awesome. Dick Warlock is a scary Michael, just like Ted White is a scary Jason. Ted White was a scary Jason. He had the freaking hands, man. They were like freaking bear's hands. All right, dude, we're down to the top three. Top three.
Okay.
What you got for number 3?
All right. Oh man. This comes down to a lot of things, man. I'll tell you, I was sick a lot as a child, and I missed a lot of school.
Mhm.
And it would always be, Mad Mom took damn good care of me, and it was always, I'll go get you some snacks, I'll get you a couple movies from the video store, and what would you like? And she was always bringing home Halloween 6. She was always bringing home Halloween 6. It was the first Halloween also that I saw. I was old enough and I went to the theater to see.
Uh-huh.
It was my very first Halloween in the theater.
Oh, nice.
And I just fell in love with it, man. I just fell in love with it. It wasn't even until I was older that I started realizing, a lot of people don't love it as much as you do, Matt.
Hey, you like what you like, man. And that
yeah. When people, a lot of people with that, they would bring up, what about this stupid, Thorn trilogy, yada, yada, yada. I even liked the theme song. I forget the name of the band. Brother Kane. That I loved that song when it came out. It went with the movie. But as far as the cult of Thorn, when I look at it, if I break it down, I think it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I do. So it's not like I'm like, yeah, Cult of Thorn. I thought that was the perfect thing for Halloween. That's not the case. But I could overlook it. It just didn't really matter to me. For me, it came down to the childhood nostalgia. I was always watching that, as a sick kid. I love Michael's look. I still love it to this day. It's one of my favorite masks. I love the atmosphere, like you said. And then there's just, for me, I feel like there's scene after scene that I thoroughly enjoy. From the hospital, him going down that hallway with the red lights, and he's almost kind of running, like in this trot where you're like, damn, and then pushing the guy's head through the freaking cage. He's vicious. I love when the son goes into the house where the mom has to follow him, and you're like, oh shit, like the only way anyone's going to go in that house is if it's your kid. If it's a niece or nephew, you're just going to text your uncle, or I'm sorry, you're going to text your brother like, hey, dude, I think
you might want to get your kid.
I think your boy went to Myers' house.
By the way, Myers is in there. I can see it through the window.
But that builds so much for me where you're like, boom, and they're going in there. The axe shot where she's crawling through the sheets and is beautiful. Beautiful. And there are things I dislike. The ending was very lackluster, because I did like it so much. I thought it deserved more of an ending than some, like I said, tranquilizing green ooze and a good beating with a pipe. I thought it was very, I didn't hate it, but it was very blah.
It's like underwhelming. Like
it's underwhelming. Yeah. That's a good word. I had no words. But I think I'll just always love this movie. And it also goes great for me around this time because I do love the atmosphere so much. So for me, Halloween 6 is number 3.
I mean, another thing too, and I didn't mention it because I knew you still had to talk about this, but with Halloween 6, another thing that kind of pissed me off about this movie was you gave a character like Donald Pleasance an off-screen kill. You know what I mean? Like all you get is the end of Halloween 6. You just get and then the credits.
I think he was too sick. I think he was too sick.
It's like,
If
why
I
do
had
you
to
even have to kill him at
guess,
all? Like in the producer's cut, he doesn't even die. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna reset the timeline anyway with H2O, so it really doesn't matter. Not that they had plans to do that, because
yeah,
Loomis, Donald Pleasance did pass before this movie came out. Before it was in theaters, he had passed, and you could see that in the credits at the end. It says, rest in peace, Donald. I almost said Donald Loomis, Donald Pleasance.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, man, I don't know. I just feel like a character of Loomis's status deserves better. You know what I mean? Kind of like that Halloween Ends
yeah,
that we talk about, like things we deserve better than that. And the character
yeah,
of Loomis, the character of Rachel, to me, they just deserve better. And it's almost like they kind of just, well, he passed away. We don't know what to do with him. So we'll just have that scream,
yeah,
and come on,
yeah,
man. That dude's been hunting him since the OG. You gotta do
yeah.
better.
Even in his acting in 6, you could tell the man was not doing well.
No, he wasn't, dude. I mean, he
You
still
know,
brought it though when he was talking to,
he did.
the mother when they were in the house, and before she got the axe swing, and he's like,
Yeah,
I can't recite the lines. It's this force, this thing. You know what I mean? Like he still,
yeah.
it grew
His
inside of him.
rage.
Yeah, like like a damn
And I think it
lady
took all he
stole it.
had.
Yeah, and you could see that at the beginning too, when he's like, "Whatever happened to old Crack Loomis? I heard he was dead." And he's like, "No, just very much retired." You know what I mean? With a smile on his face. He was happy to be done with that stuff. But yeah, man, hell yeah, dude. So that was number 3 for you. Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Let's hit my number 3, and I am going to go with Halloween 4. Halloween 4 for me. That's a number 3. You brought up some points about the mask, and I, yes, I agree. Like I do not like the mask really at all. And I could take it one step further and say, before he gets hit with that truck, he's got on shoulder pads too, and he's standing there, with, you can't really see because I got a black shirt with a black chair back, but like he's got his shoulders up like this because he has the shoulder pads on, and it just looks ridiculous. But for me, the movie, to me, you're getting damn near prime Donald Loomis, or I'm going to keep saying that, Loomis. You're getting, Rachel and Danielle Harris, Jamie. They've kind of got like a team thing going on with that. You know what I mean? All the characters, Sheriff Meekers, introduced and everything. It feels like the town is coming together at this point, because we talked about the police force, Michael goes in. How would you have loved to see that scene where Michael walks into the police station and tears everything up? All that's there, though, they kind of leave it to your imagination. You can only think of what went down in there because he went in and it was all wrecked. Like Michael took out pretty much all the cops except for Meeker, if you really think about it, because once they got back to the house, he killed the sheriff that was, or the cop that was there. That was sitting there guarding, with the shotgun. Michael did some damage in this movie, man. And I really, without having Jamie Lee Curtis, they knew that she wasn't coming back. And I think they did a great job. It took this movie time to come out. They couldn't really decide. Like there were too many people that had their hands in Halloween. So they couldn't make this movie until they did. It came out in 1988, for where Halloween 2 came out in 1981. It took them 7 years to get this together. They knew after Halloween 3, like, hell, we got to bring Myers back. That's why it's flat out called The Return of Michael Myers. They wanted to make sure that you were going to go see this movie and it had Michael Myers in it. We're going to put his big mask up on the poster. We're going to name the movie Return of Michael Myers. People will come and see it. And I don't think they disappointed, man. There's a lot of good things in this movie. And I think that the reason why I like this, or because I like this movie so much, is the reason why Halloween 5 bugs me so much, because I feel like there was so much potential with this. I mean, really think about the end of this movie. You've got pretty much a Michael part 2 with Jamie Lloyd, because the last thing we see is her in what? The clown outfit, standing on top of the stairs with the bloody scissors, and Loomis, Loomis is freaking the hell out. You know what I mean? He's like, holy shit. Like, we finally got rid of, Michael Myers. And now,
nobody freaks out like Loomis.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's that is a broken man right there, brother. Like, he's done. He's done with it. You ever had a look like that on your face that you have been pushed to the limit? That's when he saw Jamie. He's done. Loomis has had it. Like, that's why he's so crazy in Halloween 5, because of that face he was making right there. He was freaking done. It's, no. You know what I mean? Like, when I saw Halloween Ends, I heard that voice in my head as I was watching it happen. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm not doing this shit again.
He's done. He is done, brother. Loomis has had it, and that was the look on his face. That is a man that has been pushed to the edge, and that's what we got with him. So yeah, Halloween 4 is my number 3, dude. We are down to number 2. I see you're still laughing over there, but I feel like it proved my point.
It's so comical, dude. I love Loomis. Rest in peace, Donald Pleasance.
Yeah.
God, rest in
or
peace.
as I've been saying all night, Donald Loomis. You know, like,
he made these movies so great.
Oh yeah.
Number 2, man, and I told you starting with like number 4 or 5 that these could be flip flopped, and they very well can. But I've got to stay true to what I'm thinking right now. And I'm going with the OG Halloween 1, John Carpenter's Halloween 1. Dude, I don't need to say anything about this film. What I'll say as far as a reason for me that does keep it out of the number 1 spot is kind of where I'd have to go back to. I've got to go back to the rewatch ability. For me personally, I can watch, you know, the other film a little bit more because I know what happens in H1, and it is, you know, the good scenes. It takes a little while, but it's because it's such great buildup and all that. Yeah. But once you know what it's all about and what it all, you know, builds up to, it takes a little bit of that rewatchability away. But I have nothing but, oh my God, praises about this film. Halloween, it just, it broke the mold, man. You know, I don't consider it the first slasher. You know, there were slashers before Halloween, but it did something special. The fact that we're here in 2024 and we're ranking them, you know, the fact that, you know, I run a horror shop, and, you know, he's one of probably our number 1 seller across the board as far as merchandise is Michael Myers, dude. People love him. We love him. The story was very simple, but it was done so well. And it was something you talk about a lot. They built the characters to where you cared about them. You know, they took time with the story. Donald Pleasance built up that suspense where, like you've said time and time again, where if Michael is not on screen, Loomis is building him up to where you're like, who is this mother effer? Yeah. Like, you know, you want to know more. You want to see him. It was just done so well. And it was the first time you saw that amazing look where I'm still infatuated with today. You know, I've got white mask all around me.
Right.
I can't say enough good things about Halloween.
Yeah, dude. And just to piggyback a little on what you said, you know, that was my biggest rebuttal for people that would come to me and say, well, Michael had less screen time in Halloween 1 than he did in Ends. So why are you mad about it? It's like, well, because he didn't have Loomis. You know, Loomis created that atmosphere of Michael. When Michael wasn't on screen, you constantly had Loomis talking about him and pumping him up as the evil, the darkness. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a man. You know what I mean? Like, he had all of that, dude, and it just it built into that. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
it's
where you had to see him.
Yeah,
you're like, this movie's not ending where I want to see this guy. I want more of this. Like, yeah.
And it made you fear him more because Loomis is just pumping him up to be more than just a guy that stole a mask from a freaking hardware store. You know what I mean? Because without Loomis, that's all he is. It's a guy that got away, that when he was a kid, he killed his sister. And
you might want to lock your doors tonight.
You might want to lock your doors, you know, because we got a half-naked guy running around. Yeah, you know what I mean?
But like, not evil incarnate is out. You're correct.
But with Loomis, he's building him up as the shape. You know, that he's been there looking at the wall, looking past the wall, looking forward to this night. You know what I mean? Like, so much, dude. Loomis put so much into what Michael Myers is that he made that character, dude. He instilled that fear in you when you saw the shape, because like we said, without that, you take Loomis out of the equation, it's just like, what do we got going on here? We got another slumber party massacre here. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where it is. So I know there's nobody that doesn't give Donald Pleasance credit for what he's done with Halloween. But I just want to make sure that what I see is conveyed here on this show for sure. Number 2 for me, it's gonna come as no shock to you, dude. It's something we talk about all the time, and I won't talk too much about this, but you guys know I love this movie, Halloween 2018, and I think that one of the reasons why I love this movie so much is it goes back to basics. It goes back to him being the Shape, not having any connections to family, not having any of that, dude. He was just the freaking Shape. I feel like after the original Halloween, once you get into Halloween 2, he's not the Shape anymore. He's Michael Myers. He's a crazy brother. He's a crazy uncle. He's he's related to somebody. He's a family member that it just didn't work out for him. Like he didn't.
He's part of a cult,
right? Or that. But I mean, he's still. He's chasing the baby. He's chasing. First he's chasing his niece. Then the niece has a baby. Then the niece dies. Then he's chasing the niece's baby. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why Halloween 2018 so good, because David Gordon Green said, well, let's go back to what he was going to be, and that's why John Carpenter was involved. That's why all that stuff, like, this is my original vision for what we know as the Shape, and not Michael Myers, and I think they did a fantastic job with it, man. I'm not going to repeat everything that we talked about earlier. You had James Hugh Courtney absolutely killed it, dude. It felt like Michael was back. I feel like they finally got the mask right, dude. It actually felt like the Shape was back to me. But yeah, Halloween 2, or my number 2, Halloween 2018. That's where I'm at, and we are to our number 1. I know you got to get going here soon, buddy. So we can go ahead and wrap this one up with our number 1s, and we'll get it going.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no worries. And it hasn't changed, man. For me, it's Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. And I just have all the same things to say, for me, I see what you're saying. I always have. I always have, with you wanting the Shape to be, much, much more mysterious.
Right.
I also like that, but I didn't mind. And I thought the kid who played him did a fantastic job. So I didn't mind it. And like I said before, it's all this, I never thought that they were going to remake a movie I loved so much. And they did, and they brought this amazing look to him too, after we had gone through so many just off the wall things, and then you just get this badass, and I love menacing power, strength. I just love that. It's probably why I like Jason so much and things like that. And they brought that, in Tyler Mane,
right,
with Michael. I love Daniel Harris coming back. I love Scout's portrayal as Laurie.
Yeah.
And the rewatchability is through the roof for me. And it's not easy to say like that I like it over the original, but the reason I do it is pretty much it comes down to that rewatchability. It really does, because I never want to disrespect original. Rob Zombies wouldn't be here if it wasn't for John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, and the OG. I get all that. But, for me, I was okay with them diving into Michael's background. Thought the kid did a fantastic job. Once they got to the adult, I thought he was brutal. I thought he looked fantastic. I was along for the ride from start to finish.
Oh, yeah, man. And I mean, it always comes down to, and something we've always talked about on this channel, dude, nobody's wrong. You know what I mean? You should never feel guilty for what you like, dude. Of course, there'll always be playful banter between me and you when we talk shit. You know what I mean? But dude, that's fucking awesome. You've got something that you fucking love, based upon the things that you look at when you like something, because a lot of people don't talk about that. They talk about this was a good movie or this was a bad. Well, it's like, what makes this a good movie for you and what makes it a bad movie for you? Well, we're looking at two totally different things. When I see this, I want to see this, but when you see this, you want to see this. And guess what? Neither one of them are wrong. You know what I mean? You can disagree to say good versus bad. Well, I hate this. Well, see, that's what I like about it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know why. I want to know all these things. It's like, for me, that's what made it scary. You know, for other people, they'll be like, no, I want to know. Like, it's been bugging me that I don't know. You know, like, those are the types of things. And it depends on the different types of people and everything. Yeah, man. If Rob Zombie Halloween 1 is your number one, dude, that is freaking awesome. That's freaking awesome with me. You know where I'm going, dude, because it's the only movie that I haven't thrown out there yet. And probably everybody knew that when I sat down and started this show, that I was going with the OG for the number one. And that's not going anywhere for me, man. That is, to me, that is, I always tell you guys, you know, Friday the 13th is my jam, but Halloween's right there with it, dude. Still to this day, the first Halloween is my favorite slasher of all time. You know, like, I am a huge Friday the 13th fan. I like more Friday movies than I do Halloween, but that doesn't mean that the original Halloween isn't my favorite slasher of all time, because it is. You know, the things that they did in this, the mystique, the mysteriousness, all that stuff, dude, all that stuff that they did is pure genius on a $300,000 budget. You know, this movie made them. The score, we haven't talked about the score, dude. The score is a character all of its own. Without this score, you take away Loomis in the score, this might be a shit movie. I mean, seriously, if you really think about it, what kind of tone does this score set in this movie, dude? When Michael sits up and you get that dun, 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 dun. It's just like that whole energy. It's like just that sound has brought a feeling to me, like an oh shit feeling. You know what I mean? Like, here we go. So much of this movie.
Fear the Reaper. Do you ever hear that and not think Halloween
like,
now?
No,
like,
I don't. You know, there's quite a Mr. Sandman, you know, it makes me think Halloween. You know, prior to that, when I was a kid, you know, and I didn't really connect it, you know, yet I wasn't old enough. You know, the first time I really remember seeing or hearing Mr. Sandman, you know, in my memory, I know I saw Halloween before I saw this movie, but I'm 46. You know what I mean? Like, the first memory I have of Mr. Sandman is actually in the movie Back to the Future, right? So we saw that in theaters in 1985. And, you know, I was 7 at that point, knowing I'd seen Halloween before that. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know when I connected that with Halloween. But it ended up, you know, becoming connected with Halloween for me. And yeah, I can't really remember. I'm sitting here trying to remember the early 1980s. Like, I'm going to remember it. But it eventually did. So now if I am to watch Back to the Future, it makes me think of Halloween when that comes on. And it's funny how that works, dude. But music can set a tone by itself. And I think that Halloween is absolute proof of that. And I don't feel like I need to go into detail about all the great things in this movie. I could tell you my favorite kill. It was the Bob kill. It was freaking absolutely amazing. Michael standing there tilting his head, looking at him, dude. It's freaking phenomenal. Scene where he's walking across the street. Jamie's trying to get in the house. First time I saw that, well, you know, even earlier on, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, is she going to get in the house? He's getting pretty damn close. Tommy, you better hurry the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, it's so good with that, man. And it plays to your fears so much of being like, this could happen down the street because it happened there. That looks like here. So that could happen down here. And I think that that's one of the things that made Halloween so great for me and scared me so much, you know, when I first saw it as a kid. Now you can go back and you could be only like 25 years old right now, and you could watch it, you know, for the first time, be like, well, that's not scary because I watched this. Well, you know, it hit different back then because you didn't have all that progression from then to get to where we are now. Like, Halloween did it, and then Friday did it, and then Halloween did it, and then Nightmare came out, and then Scream came out, and all those movies in between that had crazy ass kills. You know what I mean? That had crazy ass stuff that upped that bar to get to where you are now. To say, holy shit, like, that doesn't compare to this. It's like, well, that's like saying, you know, like, oh, basketball players to now could school Michael Jordan. It's like, come on, man. Don't even do that. You know, without people standing on this man's shoulders, like, that doesn't even exist. So yeah, man, like, it's just freaking awesome. And again, my favorite slasher of all time. You know, if we were ranking every slasher of all time, this would be my number one. Probably just ruined a future show, but there it is. You know what I mean?
And how about that iconic scene with the white mask appearing behind her? Like, dude, how beautiful.
Unfreaking believable.
How beautiful. Like, it's like
unbelievable. It just, when you first see it, you know what I mean? You first see it. It's just like, is that him? And then it comes into focus, dude. Like, you start to see the outline. You're like, wait a minute. I see something there. And then, dude, it's so freaking good. So freaking good.
It is.
Melissa is asking, I wonder why Michael tilts his head. And let me just say this, you know, I think that goes back to what we were talking about kills when he's stabbing that person. He kind of has that like innocence almost, like not to the points where you feel sorry for him, but he's just kind of looking at it like, like, is that, what I mean? That's just my opinion. Probably wrong, Melissa. Who knows? There's probably some Halloween expert out there that could be like, well, actually, this is why he did it. But to me, it falls into what we were talking about, kills, and he puts all those knives in that guy's back. Just that demeanor that he has when he's almost admiring his work, maybe in a kind of weird way. That's just kind of where I feel with that. How do you feel about that, Matt? Why do you think he does that?
I'm a little on both.
Yeah.
I've thought one that it's admiring his work. I've also thought one to show that he's just a little not right in the head, whatever maybe mental illness he might have, or those are the two that come to mind for me the most. Like just almost like a, that's what I think of, that he's not right. And then I've also thought about, maybe it's just him kind of admiring his work, like wanting to see it from another angle. Like, I just did this. Let me really see what that looks like.
If either of us ever get a chance to meet John Carpenter to get him to sign something, we need to remember to ask him that.
And I know I've even heard, because I didn't really talk about why, but when I met Carpenter, that kill was brought up. And the only thing I remember him saying was that, that he was just doing what Carpenter said. And he said, and Carpenter had told him to do the head tilt. Right. So I guess you pretty much have to ask Carpenter, like, well, why did you ask him to
like,
tilt
what
the
was,
head?
like, I know that you probably don't want to talk about Halloween, but I'm going to ask you this one question. Like, give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you thinking when you had him tilt his head? Like, what was that?
But I've thought those two things, that he's a little bit disturbed, to just show that, because that's something maybe somebody just not in their right mind might be like, would do. Yeah. And then I could see just a bat crazy killer. I could also see it being admiring your work makes sense to me too.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's awesome.
James said I tilt my head every time I kill a bug. So that's going to need to be discussed at the shop. James, that's going to come with a conversation.
I might do the same thing, James. I'm not even going to lie. We'll try it out.
Hey, there's an ant in the house. Let me get my mask. Hang on for a second.
Swat a fly.
Right. Yeah. There it is.
I love it, James. I love it, man. This has been fun, buddy.
This has been an absolute blast. Yes. DJ did pop in and he said hello to everybody. I want to say what's up to DJ. I hope you're doing well, my friend.
DJ?
Just go back and rewatch DJ of all the stuff you missed. We ranked all the Halloween movies. I was freaking awesome. I was freaking told that Lydia has compiled the list of our rankings from the first video. So I'm going to make a thread about that tomorrow. I'm going to write down all of our rankings here from me and Matt and compare them to the last one and put that up with you guys to see what the changes were. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that, see what the difference is between now and 2 years ago and what has changed. So I want to definitely get those up there. For all you guys, did you have anything that you want to talk about, Matt, before we got out of here for tonight?
Let's see. Well, I would do like to say, James, we know that you are not a mental case, and that's not why you tilt your head. We totally know that, and that it just comes natural. We never thought that for a second. We love you, James. Absolutely love you. But I'm going to try it. I'm not even kidding. No, I do not, man. This has been a ball. I'd like to say, I hope that you all have a wonderful Halloween, man.
Oh yeah.
This is our freaking season, guys. So whatever you have going on there, I got to keep it kind of short. I'm working. I'm going to get to my brothers to pass out some candy and hopefully see some amazing kids having a wonderful time, dressed up in their costumes. I love passing out candy. So, that's really all I need to be doing. I'll probably put a little something on for them, but yeah, I just want to say happy Halloween to everyone out there. I love you guys. This is our time, man. So enjoy it. It goes quick. It just goes so quick, but just take it all in. Thanks for having me as always, Michael.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah.
Definitely. Also, if you are still in the chat or you are watching on Rewatch, I am going to make 2 threads. Now, I just thought about another thread. I want to know what movie everyone is going to watch Halloween night. I want to know what movie people have to the side. Like me, I'm watching the original Halloween and I'm doing it in theaters, like I was saying earlier, and I'm so freaking excited about that. But I'll probably watch a movie when I get home too, and I'm not sure what it's going to be. So look for that thread too. But with that being said, Matt, again, great show, dude. It was fun to go backwards. Like I always like to go forwards, but it was fun to go backwards tonight to see what has changed, man. And again, dude, it's always fun to talk Halloween. It's always fun to talk Halloween with you. It's always fun to talk Halloween with all the people in the live chat tonight. And like Matt was saying, I want you guys to have a great Halloween, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Toodaloo, motherfucker. Hey.